I'm just going to frame what social entrepreneurship is first, but before I even do that, I just want to acknowledge that we posted this event, I don't know, maybe a week and a half ago, and in a few days, the entire floor filled up and sold out, so we opened up the balcony, and a couple days after that, the balcony sold out. So there's something really special going on here. There's something that's really wanting to happen, so I'm really excited to step into that and explore that with y'all in the next months and coming years. I think some really amazing things can happen. So I want to talk about what social entrepreneurship is, but I'm going to start with some common misconceptions around what social entrepreneurship is. So sometimes I talk with people and say, oh yeah, you know, social entrepreneurship, and they say, ah, I know what that is. It's like Facebook and Twitter, right? And social media is not social entrepreneurship. Two completely different things. Another thing that people think about when they think about social entrepreneurship is it's a charity. It is not a charity. Basically, what social entrepreneurship is are about entrepreneurs creating businesses that care about money, but care about something more. They care about using business as a vehicle to make our worlds better, to create prosperous communities. So you're going to hear today from all different types of folks that are involved in this work. So traditionally, we've had nonprofits over here and for-profits over here. Nonprofits generally do good by social and environmental systems, but they need to be continuously subsidized with grants, foundations, donations from private individuals. And on the other side, we have for-profits. So for-profits are intended to return a value, a financial value to a shareholder, but they often do it at the cost of social and environmental systems. And as we know, for-profits at times need to be subsidized too. So they both have their cost. The idea about social entrepreneurship is, how do we create businesses that are drawn from a really deep place of why that goes beyond just a financial bottom line? So creating businesses that have a social, financial, and environmental bottom line all at once. So we're actually using businesses as a vehicle to regenerate social and environmental systems. So to give you an example, there's an organization called Interface, and they're based out of Atlanta. They make carpets. Not very sexy, not very like do-goodery, but really what they did, 1994, the founder, Ray Anderson, read a book. And the book was on how, it was written by Paul Hawken, and it was about how we can start businesses that do good. And he changed the mission. He reframed the mission from making the best carpets possible to revolutionizing industry. So once he started to kind of disseminate this message and disseminate this vision within his employees, it generated an incredible wellspring of innovation. People started to care much more about the work that they were doing because they were working to revolutionize how business gets done. So it generated this wellspring of innovation. The engineers said, all right, well, we have carpets. Let's ask a question, like, when we need to remove a carpet, we need to remove the entire thing. We don't really need to do that, though, because there's high traffic areas, right? And it's maybe 10%, and that's what needs to be replaced. So what if we created carpet tiles instead? And just remove those tiles. That way we'd only need to replace 10%, and that would cut down dramatically on the waste. That was one thing. Another thing is these engineers and designers came up with something called selenium, which is a polymer, and essentially what they do is they take these carpets out, these carpet tiles out, bring them back to the factory, and these particles break down, and they can be 100% upcycled. So these two innovations, and there's many more, but these two innovations reduce the waste by 99.7%. The water that comes out of the building is drinkable. So from 1994 to 2004, when they kind of started reinventing how they were doing business, the profit margin increased by $400 million. So the idea about social entrepreneurship is really when we can realize that we're adding value to the community, we're adding value to the people that are working with us, we're adding value to the earth, it can actually generate more income. So this is a new way that we're thinking about things here. And it's not just about the entrepreneur. So it's not just about Ray Anderson. There's an entire ecosystem, which we'll explore here today, that if we have a healthy ecosystem, we can really cultivate this way of business here in Asheville. So this ecosystem is, yes, the entrepreneur is a very important part of that. But there's also accelerators, like you'll hear from Sarah Day. There's also impact investors, you'll hear from today as well. There's educational components. There's co-working spaces where rising entrepreneurs don't necessarily have the income to pay for conference rooms or food processing plants and labels and advice on design and government, et cetera. So what we're doing here is acknowledging what already exists. We have everything we need here in Asheville. We just need to be educated on that and really connect the dots here. And when we do, I'm really confident that there are some amazing things that are going to happen in the coming months and coming years. So that's really what social entrepreneurship is, and I want to leave it with just one thing. I think social entrepreneurship and Asheville is a really unique combination. There's an incredible amount of creativity here. There's an incredible amount of innovation here. And people come from a place of heart. We want to do good and we want to do well. And we have everything we need here. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with this and set a really high watermark for the rest of North Carolina and the rest of the nation in the coming months and years. So I'm going to hand it off now to my co-conspirator, Ashley Cooper, who will facilitate the next conversation. Thank you much.